Welcome back to Emilee's Paper Caper. It is Stamping Sunday and Stamp Play. These are two open collaborations that encourage us to use our rubber stamps. I have a collection of Christmas tree stamps or evergreen tree stamps, and I thought it would be fun to share them with you and then stamp some of the images off. I've pulled some white cardstock, some different pattern papers to stamp on, and I thought I would stamp with my favorite VersaFine, but also stamp in green with mowed lawn, evergreen bough, and cracked pistachio distress oxides. Let's take a look at the stamps first. Many of them are from Stampin' Up, and they come from different collections. Let's talk about the Stampin' Up stamps first. This says Stampin' Up 1995. I don't know if it's ever seen ink. Look at that. I got this in an auction lot and I don't think it's ever been used. I think it'll make a beautiful image. This is a border stamp, a 2003 Stampin' Up. I think it came in a set. Most of these Stampin' Up stamps come in sets. Another from 2004, very cute. This one says 2007 Stampin' Up. And then this one says 2006 Stampin' Up. Also never seen ink. This one may have been used a couple times, and this one I don't think has ever seen ink. So we are going to break those in today. This pretty thing is a rubber stampede. That's all it says. It looks like it was on clearance and it has been used, but it looks like it'll still work great. This is a magenta stamp, and it's kind of a background creator where you can stamp it over and over again. It's really pretty. I really like magenta stamps, and you can always tell them because the block is thicker. And they usually have this magenta made in Canada symbol on it. This one came from the Stamp Shack in Naperville. That store has long since closed. It is a 2002 penny black stamp. It says Star Tree number 2. I've definitely used that. This is a very cute stamp. It says Delafield Stamp Company. Never heard of it. It's a very detailed stamp. It has candles, an angel on top. There's no date, but it seems like it's quite old. The rubber is pretty stiff, so we will give it a clean and see if we can kind of revive that a little bit. We'll use a stamp cleaner on it. This one says 1999 VIP. I've had it for some time. And it's really pretty because it has snow on the branches. We're going to start on some pattern paper. It's a pretty green gingham type pattern. I'm using VersaFine ink. This is my favorite ink for crisp, detailed images. I think this will look really cute. I didn't quite get a great impression, so we'll try it again. I think it'll look really cute to add some color and some decoration to it, and then fussy cut the stamp. It really looks cute on the pattern paper. Let's do some on the daisy as well. I think if I add some green and gold stickles, it'll look super cute. And once you get that stamped, the daisies just kind of look like some ornaments, don't they? We'll come back to that pattern paper. I want to do some on crisp white because I'm going to do this very detailed stamp. I cleaned it up. Hopefully it will behave. The rubber's pretty hard because it's pretty old. So let's see how we do with this one. I'm stamping on an old phone book. Give it an extra cushion. No, this stamp has seen its better days. It's got some damage to it. It's just so old. Sometimes when that rubber gets hard, there's just nothing you can do. Yeah, it's a goner. That's too bad because it is a very nice image, but I'll let it go. That's a little bit sad to me, but it's not gonna work. It's too old, it's too brittle. And I'm guessing that this stamp is probably 30 years old. So, you know, that's just part of crafting sometimes. We try to have our materials last a long time, and sometimes 30 years is just asking too much, right? Okay, I'm gonna do a couple borders with this Stampin' Up. I think it'd be so cute with some pencil crayons or colored pencils, maybe some stickles added to those. What a nice crisp image. These will be beautiful on the inside of Christmas cards. I'm already starting to think about Christmas cards for next year, because this year, as I was getting Christmas cards going, I figured out that I had not made enough, so we will not let that happen again. Look how cute this little guy is. So cute. Let's do some of him on the colored pattern paper as well. Very cute. Okay, let's get some green ink out. Evergreen Bough. I think this one would be really, really pretty. This is a Rubber Stampede stamp. It's pretty. I think we'll try this one now. It's a penny black. It looks like I used it with a metallic green ink, but I did clean it. Let's just see how we do. Oh, it's so pretty. That is a cute little guy, isn't it? He'd be cute on gift tags or as a signature stamp on the back. Let's do a couple on the pattern. And since this is so bright, let's go ahead and try it with the Evergreen Bough. I'm not sure it's going to show up. No, it doesn't really show up. So let me clean it real quick. I'm just going to stamp it off. We're going to try it with Mowed Lawn and see if that's dark enough. It's kind of subtle. It's not terrible. But it doesn't show up quite as well as I wanted it to. Let's try this one. It's another Stampin' Up. I'm going to try it with Mowed Lawn. It's kind of nice to stamp with a colored ink. I don't do that as often as I probably should. Most of the time I'm using my tried and true VersaFine. Oh, isn't that precious? I love it. That's cute. We'll do one more, and then I want to try one in these other green colors just to be able to compare. Stamp off the extra ink. Let's try it in cracked pistachio. I just think it will give a very different look. Wow. Okay, now let's try evergreen bough. So here's the comparison. Mowed lawn, cracked pistachio, evergreen bough. Depending on what paper you're using and other colors, you might pick a very different looking tree, right? Let's try this one. I feel like the oxides aren't quite right. Let me see if I have something else. I have a very old Stampin' Up. It's called Forest Foliage, and it looks like it's kind of crystallized a little bit. But let's just see if we can stamp with it. Pretty old. Does anyone know if there's anything you can do when it starts to crystallize? I've noticed that green ink crystallizes a little more often than other ink colors. It does look like it's working. Might be a little dry. I'm going to give it a huff. I really hope this works. I'm trying to be patient and give it lots of pressure. Ooh, it's pretty. The green isn't great, but the stamped image is very nice. Okay, let us try it with evergreen bough, just to compare. That's pretty nice too. It's a realistic image is the word I'm looking for. Let us try this cutie. I'm gonna try evergreen bough again. That's pretty. That's a cute stamp. And this one, just for something different, let's try Mowed Lawn. If I'm being honest, cracked pistachio is not my favorite for these Christmas trees. It's nice, but not my favorite. I would like to try making a background, and I've got this paper. It's got a very subtle pattern, so I'm going to go in with several of these greens and just stamp, and then I can cut card fronts, smaller card fronts, probably 3 or 4, out of this paper. So I'm just stamping, turning the stamp different directions, letting some of the pattern go off the side. Okay, I'm going to stamp off the extra ink. I want to use all 3 of these Distress Oxide greens. I think it'll make a really interesting card background. Okay, let's look at everything I stamped today. Here's how the background turned out. I really like it. And now we have a start on trees for Christmas cards next year. Let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to hear from you. Be sure to check the hashtags Stamping Sunday and Stamp Play to see what others are doing with their stamps. And our hostesses, Stamp Play is hosted by Susan's Heartstrings, and Stamping Sunday is hosted by Thelma Hall. So give them some love and support. Visit their channels. I will link to them down in the description. Keep on scrapping, stamping, and paper crafting.